Welcome to Democracy Roundtable. Today, we're diving into some critical issues facing our democracy, both here at home and abroad. We'll be looking at Senator Tillis's recent public criticism of the Trump administration, what it signals about the Republican Party, grassroots efforts to revitalize Democratic voter outreach, and the increasing concerns about executive power under President Trump. Plus, we'll examine some troubling human rights issues and international tensions. Kai, thanks for joining me.
Great to be here, Claire. It's certainly a packed agenda. The Tillis situation alone is fascinating, isn't it? A sitting senator, effectively liberated by his decision not to run again, finally speaking his mind.
Exactly. It's a rare glimpse behind the curtain. Let's bring Andre in. Andre, you cover media and press freedom. What's your take on Tillis's comments and how the media is covering this apparent split within the Republican Party?
And that brings us to another point. Trump's administration is now reviewing broadcast licenses. It's chilling, frankly. It feels like a direct assault on the First Amendment, and a very dangerous precedent.
It really does seem like we're seeing a consolidation of power on several fronts. Speaking of power, let's turn to the growing concerns about the limits of presidential authority under Trump's second term. We have Maya with us today, our international affairs correspondent. Maya, what are you seeing on the global stage?
Well, Claire, the international community is growing increasingly anxious. Trump's recent military actions, particularly in Iran, and his claims of having an absolute right to impose tariffs, are raising serious questions about the checks and balances on executive power. Many legal experts are questioning whether the system is failing to limit Trump's power, and international law seems increasingly ineffective.
The response has been hesitant, to say the least. Nations are weighing the risks of military involvement, and quite frankly, they're wary of getting dragged into another conflict. France has already declined to send warships, and others are considering alternative options like mine-hunting drones. There's a clear lack of enthusiasm for a full-scale military commitment.
And then there's the situation with Iran. Schiff's criticism of lifting some Russian sanctions amid the conflict raises serious questions about this administration's foreign policy strategy. It certainly creates the impression that the U.S. is enriching an adversary while engaged in military conflict with Iran.
It's a complex web of international tensions. Let's shift gears and bring Sarah into the conversation. Sarah, you cover legal affairs. What's your perspective on these escalating questions about Trump's authority, especially his claim of having the absolute right to impose tariffs, and the Supreme Court's role in all of this?
Thanks, Claire. Trump's claim is a direct challenge to the separation of powers. The Supreme Court's recent setback for his trade policies clearly hasn't deterred him. The fact that he's criticizing the court itself is deeply concerning. It suggests a disregard for the rule of law and a belief that he's above it.
That's a chilling thought. It seems like every day brings a new challenge to established norms and democratic institutions.
Absolutely, and Congress is also complicit. Senator Booker's criticism of Congress for ceding war powers to the president is spot on. They've been too willing to let the executive branch expand its authority unchecked.
Adding to all this, the Save America Act is stalling in the Senate, raising serious concerns about election integrity. The DOJ's heavy-handed involvement in voter ID enforcement and election probes further complicates the issue. It feels like a deliberate attempt to suppress voting rights.
I agree. It's vital that we protect the integrity of our elections and ensure that every citizen has the right to vote. This Save America Act seems designed to do the opposite.
Let's quickly address another troubling story. Human Rights Watch is reporting that El Salvador is forcibly disappearing Salvadorans deported from the U.S. That's just completely unacceptable.
That article is horrifying. If true, it's hard to believe where the moral compass of this administration is pointing.
All right, let's wrap up by touching on a more local issue. Swing Left is making an effort to revitalize the Democratic Party's voter outreach strategy. Kai, what are your thoughts on their approach?
It's encouraging to see groups recognizing the need for a more personal and engaging approach to voter outreach. The Democratic Party definitely needs to reconnect with voters who feel disconnected from the political process. Focusing on deep canvassing and addressing people's specific concerns is a good start.
I agree. Grassroots organizing is essential, especially in a political landscape where so many feel unheard. And it's a stark contrast to the top-down approach we often see. Andre, Maya, Sarah, thank you for your insights today.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you both.
Thanks for having me, Claire.
And thank you for listening. It's more vital than ever that we stay informed and engaged in the fight to protect our democracy. Join us next week for another edition of Democracy Roundtable.